you speak any English? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Hora de hacerse el mudo.
America, brace yourselves for what's coming. Obviously, if you don't know, I'm a truck driver. We are in a recession right now. Banks have announced a recession, right? And unfortunately, us as truck drivers, we've been feeling this. Some will tell you a year, 2 years, 3 years, but the public has not realized this until now, right? Now, what's going to happen is it's like deja vu all over again. Warehouses are running out of product. They have only so much, and the rest is going to be relied on other countries. Unfortunately, due to the tariffs, we don't have anything to rely on right now, right? Amazon just announced they're laying off thousands of people across the country. For example, my son works at UPS part-time while he's in college. They cut his hours and many of their hours, right? Let's start. Whoever had a car note is going to get their car repossessed. The housing market, foreclosure is going to happen. Bankruptcy is going to happen. There's nothing wrong with bankruptcy. Starting all over. Donald Trump, our president, our commander-in-chief, has filed bankruptcy multiple times under corporation names, right? So that's normal. Fresh start. But we have to understand Donald Trump, I've always said this, right? On paper, it looks good what he's trying to do. What I mean by that is, ladies and gentlemen, for it to look good on paper, in reality, we would have to reset back into the late 80s, early 90s. What does that mean when I say that? The way things cost the average American to live. We would have to go back to those days for manufacturing jobs to come back in our country and for people to be able to work in these manufacturers. Other than that, you would have to put robots in these warehouses for it to work. The average American wants a very good hourly pay, lucrative, wants 401k, wants health insurance. All that's going to come from the consumer. When the product is being made, all that has to come into consideration and break it down per unit, per cost. It's a little too late for that, right? That's just the way it is.
Guys, welcome back again to my channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking. When you saw this video, so lots and lots of truckers are beginning to lose their jobs. One, okay, is the fact that lots of ports are currently empty, so there's really nothing for them to carry anymore, right? People are complaining how the tariff has really affected, the truck industry. So a lot of ports are empty and they're not able to have lots of loads to carry anymore from the ports, probably to the corporations where they have to offload them. Now, aside that, the current administration decided to make sure that every other truck driver speaks English. So a lot of them have to pass an English test for them to be able to, become fully certified to drive truck in the US. Anyway, I'm just going to let these videos through, then we'll come back with the commentary. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment, and please do subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up so that more people can see it, and credit to all creators on this video. So let's go watch these videos, then I will come back with a commentary.
Trucking has completely went flat bottom, man. I can honestly tell you these past 3 weeks, this is including the third week that I'm in right now, you get a few runs here and there. I'm in Chicago, right? And it's getting bad. I don't know, what do you tell your drivers, right? Just give them the whole concept of be patient. Obviously, watching the news, I'm not only a truck driver, I own trucks. I got drivers, man, I don't know what else to say or do. Obviously, Trump is doing what he needs to do, right? On paper, it looks good. It looks right. But we're going to have to try to weather the tide, you know what I'm saying? But, man, it's getting bad, right? And I know a lot of people in other businesses that are complaining too, right? Everybody's watching the news, waiting for this whole situation to die down with this whole tariff thing back and forth. And I don't see no end in sight. I know some of my guys that are owner-operators, a lot of them gave up not having a plan in place after they quit. And they just saying, hey, I'm going to wing it. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But, man, me personally, my advice to anybody, it doesn't matter if you're a truck driver or not. Whatever you're doing for a living and you don't want to do that no more, find you another source of income before you quit. Never quit until you have another option, right? You're going to quit and just sit there and wait. What are you going to do? My advice, man, do not quit something until you have something in line, ready to go.
My biggest fear is that people won't wake up. My biggest fear is that people won't ever wake up. I have a friend who is a truck driver and was actively at the port in Seattle, seeing that shipping containers were not coming in. He's actively losing work, not being able to get loads to pick up as we speak, and still getting harassed, belittled, told that it's not real. That is exactly what happened during COVID. When COVID hit, I was an ER nurse in a level 1 trauma ER in the States. People never woke up. I don't mean that in the sense, well, literally and figuratively, but figuratively, they never woke up. And I find myself telling myself that things will get bad enough and people will wake up and America will figure its shit out. It has to get bad enough for enough people and then they'll wake up. And I just put 2 and 2 together today. I don't know that will happen. Because these same people are the people who blue lips, gasping breaths, watching family members pass away and suffocate, being told that they can't get ventilators, losing their newborn child, losing their parents, their spouse, brothers and sisters, watching their own oxygen decrease, realizing that they're very sick, would use their last dying breath to yell at us and tell us that it was fake. They never woke up. There were people who spent months in the ICU with their spouse or their loved one and still refused to get the vaccine, refused to believe that COVID was real. That is how set in their ways they were. I don't know that people will wake up for this. I don't think that there's a certain demographic that it has to affect before people will wake up, because COVID also affected every demographic. Granted, yes, there were certain demographics it affected more, but it touched everyone. It took lives of every different social, cultural, economic class. And those people never woke up. And we are 5 years deeper into this tunnel, this rabbit hole. Things that I saw from the people in COVID, the willingness to fight the people trying to help you as you are literally gasping for your last breath. Times that by 5 more years of lies and indoctrination and being in a cult. I don't know, guys. It's bringing back of how it felt to be a nurse back then. Listening to my friend talk about being a trucker right now. Looking people in the eye and saying, I am not getting jobs. There are no shipments coming in because of what is going on. They straight to your face, they tell you you're lying or that they know better. That is exactly how it felt. And knowing that your personal hell was just ramping up, knowing that things were going to get so much worse, and you were on the front lines of that impending sense of doom that you know is coming, and nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear you. They'd rather call you names, call you a liar, say that they know better than you. And then you think, well, if enough people get sick, if enough people go broke, if enough people don't eat, if enough people go to the stores and the shelves are empty, if just enough people, whatever you want, fill in the blank, then they'll wake up and then they'll realize that we're not lying. No, they won't. No, they won't. It's literally an endless, vicious cycle. And I can tell you firsthand, people will use the last bit of air in their lungs to tell you that you're wrong.
If you think trucking is bad now, it's going to get a lot worse. I've been following the trucking data for quite some time in different market cycles, and there's just one thing that people are just not talking about enough. And look, every market, has boom cycles and recessions and things like that, and recoveries, and trucking is going to have its recovery as well. But the thing that people are just not really talking about is capitulation. If you look at every market crash out there, it starts going on a downtrend and a downtrend and a downtrend. It has some recoveries here and there, some bear traps, and then all of a sudden you have capitulation, that big sudden downturn where you think the world is going to end and things are never going to be the same again. Then after that you have consolidation, where things kind of like cool down and then you eventually recover. That is what I've been waiting to happen when it comes to truck driving. Even before Trump got elected, I understood this. And a lot of people would talk about, hey, trucking is getting a little bit better. The demand is balancing out versus the amount of trucks out there. And so many trucks have gone out of business. When I looked at the chart, I understood that there was a lot more pain to go. I think that we're getting near to that pain. And I think that the tariffs is going to be the catalyst that we need for us to see that capitulation in the market. Once we do see that sudden downturn and in that intense fear that's going to be all over the country, only then, I believe, is going to be a good time for us to say, okay, this is the bottom over here. Things are eventually going to get better from this point, but it is going to get a lot worse than it is right now. And this means that if you have any payments, if you're barely making it now, you're not going to make it later on. If you have any overhead at all, you most likely won't make it. You see, because I understood this, I put myself in a position where no matter what happens in the market, there's no possibility of me failing. This is why I think that truck driving is kind of a superpower if you use it correctly. Now, I make more sacrifices than the other truck driver, and I'm willing to do things that other people are just simply not. And that's why I sold everything I had. I live in my truck, and no matter what is happening in the market, I'm gonna survive. Now, I don't expect everyone to do this in order to survive, but you do have to understand that if you do have a high truck payment, if you're not on the road as much as you can, if you're not saving everything that you can, if you're not going as hard as you can, you're probably not going to make it. And that's just the truth. Unless you have very specialized freight, unless you have contracts with people or you are in a company that is most likely not going to go out of business. If you are an owner operator and there's just one more guy out there that's making his payments, you're most likely not going to make it. The fact of the matter is that after COVID, there were too many trucks out there on the road, and we are starting to see people get out of the business. And while, sure, I'm happy that people are getting out of the business, I'm not happy that people are losing their trucks and their investments. I would much rather see these mega carriers lay off people, and then it's still something that sucks, but I would much rather see that than somebody lose all of their life and their dreams and everything that they put into a business just for factors that are incredibly out of our control. But this is the reality, so get ready.
Another worst week for the trucking industry. I'm actually sitting in Seattle, Washington right now without a load. I don't have no load right now. I dropped my load 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's already 1 o'clock that I'm sitting here waiting for the load. A lot of people been asking me, does it gonna get fixed? Is it gonna get better? I have no fucking clue what is gonna happen, because day by day it's getting worse and worse. I have no clue. I haven't seen trucking industry like this in the past 10 years. This is the worst year for the trucking industry. Worst year. And when I came to the truck stop, I reserved a shower. There were 23 people in front of me in the line. 23 people. It's been 4 hours I'm waiting for the shower, and they still 3 people ahead of me still. So you can imagine that how many people are sitting at this truck stop without a load. All the truck drivers, we have nothing else to do besides taking shower all day. Pray for everybody. Stay safe on the road.
You know how people will say, oh, it has to get really tough before it gets better. Sometimes I don't really believe in that equation. Sometimes it happens, while most times it actually doesn't happen, because once the price of things goes up, to come down becomes a problem. Even when there are regulations in place to really bring down the prices of goods, most times it doesn't really happen, because these people had already bought those products at a higher cost. So selling it below the cost price becomes a problem. So that's one thing that tariffs really cost, okay, for lots of, whenever it's implemented. Now, the whole truck industry is feeling the heat that this whole thing is affecting them. Lots of them are going to be losing their jobs, okay, something they never bargained for in 2025. Okay, lots of them are already complaining that they've never seen this kind of recession ever since they started the whole truck thing. And right now, lots of them are just sitting down at the port waiting for goods to arrive, and yet nothing. Okay, imagine when truck driving has always been one of the biggest industries, okay, because people are always shipping in things into the US and into any other country in the world, and truckers has always been very much needed. But right now, it seems that the number of truckers who are available are not, are more than the goods that are available for them to carry. Now, before people can even order for goods from any country in the world, they have to consider the cost of tariff, what is going to cost them to import these goods from this country to the other. And that's why you have companies like Walmart telling you that they are going to be increasing their prices because of the cost the cost of bringing those goods in, okay. And that's why you also see videos of people saying that stores are becoming empty by the day because people can no longer afford to bring in goods from different countries, especially China, okay. Even with the 30% tariff that they are currently in, things are still very much, expensive, right? Now you now have the whole truck driving industry, Trump saying that every one of them need to learn how to speak English. It became a very big deal. In fact, it is a very big deal because a lot of truckers are not English speakers. Let's even be realistic here. A lot of people who drive truck in the US are not English speakers. Some of these people could be Spanish speakers, could be like anything, right? It could be from Latinos and all of those people. Most of them do not speak English. They have their own languages. But right now, because they have to drive truck in the US, they are now mandated to, learn how to speak English. And it will take them a lot of time. And for you to drive on the road, you need to have it so that you don't get stopped by police one day and you cannot communicate. Then that will become a big problem for you, right? And we've heard stories of people say that they were stopped at some point and all of that. So That's why a lot of people are now looking into it and like this is going to cause a lot of problem because trucking is going down by the day and the whole recession thing is becoming very serious. If you cannot speak English, you cannot drive truck, and yet the port is becoming empty by the day. Well, I would love to know what you all think about this whole truck drivers and their complaints and everything that's happening. Okay, to think that some of them might have voted for the current administration without knowing that this administration was going to affect them. Well, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment. Let's have that conversation in the comment section. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and don't forget to give the video a thumbs up so that more people can see it. I look forward to seeing you all on my next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.